So, guys, again, good evening to all of us and welcome to the month of March. So, what this goes to tell is our level of resilience. We started in January, and today is the third month of the year, and perhaps the seventh time that we are meeting this year. We are breaking bounds already. So, today we are going to be continuing from M365 Admin Center. And somebody will say, when are we ever going to get through with M365 Admin Center? Before the end of March, we will finish Admin Center and then we'll go into core technologies in M365. And I encourage you to make sure that you're putting everything that we are doing here into practice, because like Messi would quote some of my statements on the Japanese proverb on LinkedIn, what I do, I know. What I see, I only can remember. But what I hear, I'll forget. So please try to remember by seeing, but try to know it by doing what you are supposed to do. So having said that, again, this is our regular paracetamol cmd.ms, and then we are just right in, and then we just do this. So it's either we do this or we do admin.microsoft.com. So having looked at this, if you click on show all, I'm sure that we always get we're getting comfortable with the good thing already. So this is what we want to look at. And last week I introduced us to this, and I said that you have active teams and group, and then inside active teams and group, then I mentioned that we have types of groups. We have the teams and M365 group. That's where we have add team, we have add a Microsoft 365 group, and then here is a distribution list, right? And then we have security groups. So that means that under teams and group, you have three types of, will I say three types? Under teams and groups, you have two types of groups here, right? Where you can create a group that is a security group. Coming here, you can add a group that is Teams enabled group, or you can have a group that is non-Teams enabled group. So how do you know a Teams enabled group and a non-Teams enabled group? You have the sync status. You have Teams status here showing this and this. You would find out that, let me do this. I'll just take a screen grab of this so that I can analyze here. You will see this in a team, in a group. You see this in a group. But here is empty. Nothing is showing up here. Here is empty. Nothing is showing up here. But here you see a team status. Here you see a team status. And same thing as this. Here there's none, and here there is none. So first of all, to explain, this sign means the cloud. Okay, it means the cloud. So what it means is that this group were created in the cloud. They are not synced groups. So synced group are those groups that are created on premises, and then they are synced to the cloud. So all the groups that we have here, all of them were created in the cloud. But some of them have team status, some of them do not have team status. So the ones that are having team status enabled are those groups that were created that are created in Teams, and Teams was enabled for them. So how do you do that? You can see this add a team here. So before I go on with that, I want to click on here and then click on Teams here so that Teams can just open by the other side. Now, if you are creating a team, let's say we click on that, right? So what we do is we just call it TMCC match, TMCC match. So if you want to give it a description, you can give it, but I must tell you something. If you do not click inside of this description, whether you type something or not, this next will not go on, right? So you click on inside of it. I think I'm wrong. Something just happened, right? Let me just take this name. Let me just take this name. Something has eventually changed recently. So I'll just do, yes, I want to close it. really want to close it. So I'm coming back here, right, under team, and I'm adding this, I'm pasting this, and then if I click here, okay, I could click there, right, and it will go without me adding a description. But it's usually better. This is a demo, a TMCC demo in March. TMCC demo in March. Okay, so I want to remove the K. So fine, so that anybody who sees this team will know what it is. So the team provides a place to chat, to collaborate on files in Microsoft Teams. So what it means is that when you create this group from here, it is going to write to Teams itself. So this is Teams environment. So if you click on team, you are going to see like the list of the teams that you have listed here, right? So your team, if I click on here, these are the teams that I have at the moment. Okay, so if I come here now and then I'll click on next. So the next thing is I must add an owner before I can do next. An owner can add or delete a team member, edit the team's detail, and delete conversations. So it's just like when you see an owner of a team, it's like WhatsApp group administrator. So it can add people, can delete people, can even delete messages from teams, right? So, but you must have a team, must have an owner. So I'm just going to make Benga the owner of this team. It can be one or more owners. So let me be Lab Guy is also an owner of the team. But you can create a team without adding member. You can move on, right? But I just want to add myself so that I will see it show up in my team, right? So I'm doing this. Next, I'm the only member there, right? So the team's email address, that's where you're going to send an email to, that the email will get delivered to the general channel. So email all team member using the email address and choose a privacy setting to control who can join the team and see it consents in team search, all of that. So for this, we can just take it CMCC match, or can say tmcc.match as the email address, right? So once we do this, we choose the privacy. If we want people to just join it, we are willing for people to join. Like when they come to Teams, they will just see join here, and they will still join the team. They will see the team listed here. They will just click on join, right? They can decide to do that, like creating it as a public team, right? Even if anybody is not a member, can just join. Like WhatsApp community, you can just join any community that is open, any of the group in the community that is open. So WhatsApp is actually copying what Microsoft Teams has. So that said, so teams.match. So if you want to send an email to teams.match, it will get delivered to the general channel of the team. So if you want to choose that people outside the organization should be able to send an email to the team, depends on how you set it, but this cannot be done right now, but you can change it after you have created it. So privacy is going to be private, and then you do next. So the next thing that happens is that this is just reviewing the whole thing. The name is TMCC match. The description is this, and then who are the owners of the team, Benga and Lab Guy. Then members are this guy. So you can click on add. So what happens is that this group, which is a team, is created, right? And this team will appear in your list of teams in 5 minutes, right? Now that the team has been created, you can change more settings, including send copies of team conversation and events to team members in email, and then let people outside the organization email this team. Don't show Teams email in Outlook, and you can change a lot, right? So let's go. Let's look for it. So it's going to be created, and it's going to have team status because you created it as a team, right? So I'm going to look for TMCC. I'm going to hit this. So when I do that, I'm going to have TMCC match. This is it. And then you can see that it is carrying the Teams logo. The reason it is carrying this Teams logo is because it is a Teams style. It is a Teams is a Teams group. meaning that it carries presence in Teams. So if I click on the team, so before the team can be a Teams group, listen, all owners of the team must have Teams enabled license, right? It is compulsory, okay? So now if you come to settings here, you will see let people outside the organization email this group. This is the only time you can set this. Then you can say send copy of the team's email and event to team members' inboxes. So if you send an email to this email, do you want it to just also copy to the mailboxes of the users? You can decide to do that. Don't show Teams email address in Outlook. So if you want to hide it from global address list when searching from Outlook, you can do this. Then Teams channel, team members can add channels and edit existing channels. You can decide that you want to deprive people from adding channels. Then team members can add and edit private channels. If you want them to be able to, if you don't want them, you can also set that. Then allow members to edit their sent messages. So after sending your message, like what WhatsApp does to allow you edit in 15 minutes. If you allow this, it will always be, whether 10 minutes, whether yesterday, whether 10 days ago, you can always edit your chats. Then allow member to delete their sent messages. So if you do this, to allow it to be checked, then when members of the team send messages, they can still delete them. So I want to remove this. Let me just save. So that let's check now. The team has been saved. The membership, here is the member, and here are the owners of the team. Yes, I'm the administrator, but I'm just a member, right? So I can even create a team from the admin center without being a member of that team. And I can also add myself or promote myself to become an owner from the admin center as well. So that said, this is all good. So what is remaining is that if I come to Teams and I refresh here, I would expect to see TMCC mat showing up here in a bit of time. So I'll just wait for it to load this and let's see if that works as magic. Yeah, sometimes it can delay, but it can also be fast if we are lucky. So you can see it here, TMCC match. So if I come to the general channel and then I come to post, then this is the heading of my post and I just say test. Remember it was created as a team. So once I do this now if I click on here, because I have removed deleting and editing from the setting, then you'll see that I will not be able to delete, I will not be able to edit. So, but if I want the users to be able to do that, I will just come here, come to settings, and then I can really say, okay, I don't even know why this was not even team members can add and delete channel. Okay, this is a team members conversation. Allow team member to edit sent messages. If I do this, allow team member to delete sent messages. I do this and then I save. I will expect it that here you can see it's happening like magic, right? Delete is already here. So you can see also that edit is already here, right? But if I come back here and I do this and I do this, I save it, I will expect it to respond immediately. I wish I can even split the screen, but there's no point stressing on that. That's what happens. You can really set it to be like that, right? So once I do this and I save, I'll see my delete icon. And then I'm deleted. I can do undo, and then it comes back. But and you can see edit. I can decide to edit it. But if I come here and I say allow member to edit, and then I say save. So I don't know what will happen now. I've already set it before doing this. Will it post a new one? It will not, right? Fail to edit. Do you know why? Because I had opened it before I turn off edit option. So it will fail because the setting from here has disabled edit for me. So let's not be playing. But with what I've done, if I do retry to work, so you see that to work, right? So that is how a Teams group actually looks like. It creates a group in Teams. But if I create a team, right, if I come back to active teams and group, if I come to, if I'm not using this option, I'm using this. This is actually a a group like this that does not have like a group, or the painting here is too much, but it's actually a group like this that is not having team status. That's the kind of group I'm going to create like this, that the team status is empty. What that means is that I'm not going to see that group in my teams because it is not a teams group. So what do? I'll just click on, remember I'm still on this heading. I could go to this one, right? Under distribution list, I'm going to show you how this works, but I'm still in teams and group. Don't get it twisted. So under teams and group, I've done add team, and now I'm going to add Microsoft 365 group. So if I click on this, so what I have is, I'm going to call it TMCC match node team. Maybe something like that would help. Now, what's happening there is that I have done this and I'll do next. So I must put an owner there. So I'm just going to put, I may just put, who do I put as owner of this group? Maybe Benga also. It's just to come to hand. And then we can also put, yeah, I want to put only Benga as the only owner of the group. It is advised you always have at least 2 owners to a group so that one can function in the absence of the other. So if I need to add group members, I'll just add myself. If I add myself now as a group member, these things are actually very easy. It's just click. I don't really know. There's nothing technical here actually. So I'll just call this tmcc.match node team, tmcc.match nt, right? It's just okay. NT is just like node team. Now allow admin role to be assigned. So forget about this. That can be, so add Microsoft Teams to your group. So now look at something. Let me just come back here. Let me add another owner. I want to see something. I'm just trying to look for a member that has no, maybe this guy has an owner too. There are now 2 owners. Next. Can you see this thing? Create team for the group. It's not checked, right? It's saying all owners must have license that include teams. When I added only Benga, now look at it. I want you to observe something. Let me remove this guy. Let me add, it's not because I added 2 people. Let me add Christopher. I know that Christopher has license. I know that I know that I don't know. I know that Paul has license, right? I can even add more. I know that no, Raphael does not have. I know that Solomon Boro has license. I'm adding these people as owners, right? If I do next and I do next, so there's somebody that does not have license there. I don't know who that person is. Let me just remove some persons. I know that Paul has. Okay, this is the person that does not have Chidima. You can see team status. It does not have team status. So if I don't remove this person, I will not be able to see this option checked, this option here. Because for me to be able to make this group a teams group, I can be creating the group with the intention of not making it a teams group. Fine. But if I uncheck this now, look at something, and then I click on create, it is not a teams group. It is just no team, like the name implies, right? So now let me come to TMCC. And then we are looking for match no teams, right? This, you can see that the status here is not showing team because I've unchecked or deselect the option there for myself, right? So if you come here, you will see that the team that we created just now, this is it. It does not have team, but this one does have, right? So you can actually select the team to have team status enabled. That is, if you come to teams, if I come to teams now, I'm not going to see the TMCC no team group here because the group really has no team status checked for it. So I'm never going to see it here. Let's not even waste our time. It's never going to be there. So if you look at this team now, it's here. If I open it, there is a place where it can tell you to add a team. What it means is that if you want to convert this team to become a team, then you can see by the far right hand side here, you will see add a team. Let me tell you a story of what happened when I was working as a support engineer. This icon that you see here, right? If I come back to this team and I go to owners and I add, and I'm adding Chidima, showing you something very important that can save your stress. So now let me come back to this place, right? Let me bring this one back. Can you check the difference? This thing that used to be here, that say add team, this one, you will find that it's no longer here. And it's a very simple explanation. The reason is because you have added someone that has no teams license enabled to the group. I'll tell you the story I said I was going to tell you. In 2022 or 2021, Premier League itself raised a ticket and I picked it. So what happened was that they have a team, but it's not teams enabled. They have a group, but it's not teams enabled. And they want to convert that team to become a group, or they want to enable team status for that group. What happened was that there was a member, there was an owner of the group. That owner, his account was the person resigned. His account was licenses were removed from the accounts from on-prem, and I guess it was disabled. But that account was still remaining inside of the team. Because of that, that option to convert to team was not available, and they raised the ticket. And then what I did that time was when I discovered what I'm telling you now. To see this option here to enable teams for the group, which we are going to do now, right? You must make sure that all the owners have teams enabled license. All the members may not have the license, it doesn't really matter, but the owners must have. So if I click on this, what you see is that group members will be added to collaborate together on Microsoft Teams. You can manage advanced team settings in the Microsoft Teams Admin Center. Yes, if I just do this. And then what happens is that this group, you have added a team on this group. To manage advanced team settings, go to Teams Admin Center. So if I come here now and I do a refresh from here, in like about 5 minutes, I should have that showing up for me in Teams. So I'm just waiting for it to refresh. I'm coming back here, and you can see it's CMCC March no Teams. This is because I have converted or enabled the team status. Now what happens? If I come here to look at it, can you see the CMCC no Teams? It's carrying a Teams logo. What that means is that it has been enabled for Teams. So same thing too, if I come here, one thing can explain it to me. If I cannot get that icon here, even though this is an engaged group, right, it will mean that one of the owners may have to troubleshoot why I cannot see the team status for this. But the obvious one is what I've told you, and that will always be helpful to you if you take this to heart. And it's very important. Like something that cost me a week or two while troubleshooting that issue that I'm sharing with you at ease. Okay, so having said that, the next point is how to export your group, which is like the next thing here. This is just to refresh if there's a change you made. Then if you want to export your groups, what you do is to come here and to click on exports, right? If you click on exports, then what will happen is it will just the teams, I mean the group you have, export group in the list, export groups, either of them that you're looking for. Exports could take some time depending on the number of listings you have in CSV file. Then the list of your things or your groups will just come up. It's just opening in my second screen. I'll just drag it here. This is it. So what's happening now is showing you. So where you are seeing false or true, let me just come there. Sync from on-prem, if it was synced, then to tell you. And then there's also here group if it is public, private. Then if there are YAML groups, then this is where I want to look at. Has teams, if it is synced, if it is teams enabled, if it is yes, otherwise it is false, 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 or true, false, and so on. So if it has teams, it is true. If it does not have teams, it is false. So that explains to you what we just looked at. So for example, teams are not teams. Where is it? TMCC match, the last two that we created. You know that now they have team status. So if you come to teams enabled, assign role, teams, as teams, you now see they are true. So this can be a way of you trying to, so for example, you may want to just look at the group name. This is not like a data cleaning job. And then you want to compare to maybe it's teams enabled, has teams. You can select these two, Control C. Then you can come here. I think maybe you can feed it to. Yeah. Can you see them? It's just together, right? This now as a result of data cleaning that you may want to look at. So you can maybe do this. Maybe you want to report the teams you have in your environment to your manager, somebody. You can see that ABC of Cloud employee onboarding is a team, and then these ones are not, and these co-pilots, these guys are, these ones are not, and then so on and so forth. Then you can really see TMCC, the last two, and how they were created. So that is teams, add teams and group. Add teams, add this. And now there's a statement I always make when I explain this to people. All teams group are M365 group, but not all M365 groups are teams. So if you create a team, it automatically behaves as M365 group. But if you create M365 group, it does not automatically become a team until you enable the team status for it. So that's why that statement is important and make it. So is this an M365 group? Yes. Is it teams enabled? Yes. Is this an M365 group? Yes. Is it teams enabled? No. So that's the point. So the next point is distribution list. Distribution list is for distribution, for broadcast, as the name implies. Now I'm going to bring up my paints, right, and explain what I'm trying to talk about with distribution list. So for example, this is your organization. And then in this organization, you have like a lot of users. And everybody has email address, and everybody has like everything, right? These are these users, there are a lot of them, right? But you have one HR, one IT department, let's say IT department, IT, and the IT is let's just say IT support or IT.support at pillarscloud.com.ng. This is the email address from IT. This is a distribution list. Now, all these people are members of this distribution list, right? So what happens is that when an email is shot at this DL, right? When an email is sent only to this email address, right? the email is distributed in such a way that the email gets to everybody at the same time. The same email content springs across everybody within the organization, right? Everybody gets it in their own email to see that the email, when you get it in your mailbox, it will be indicating as to this email address, this one. So now what we want to do is you can have a mail like this, right? That will say, dear all, right? Dear all, I wanted to use this. Dear all, this is a this is a piece of advice to keep your password secure, as this is the cybersecurity awareness week, something like that. Best regards. IT pillars, concepts. Okay. So this is the mail. it.support@pillarscloud.com.ng, and then it is that same email will get delivered to everyone in Pillars Concepts. Now, that said, if we come back here, for example, let's minimize, and then what we'll do is for DL, we are going to create this, right? And then we are going to do the name it should show is IT support. That's going to be the display name. We don't need to have description, but it's always very important that you have description. You can say this is a demo during the CMCC events, virtual training, virtual meetup. Okay. Now we do next. We must add an owner. That one is important. The owner is the manager of that team. So we can put Benga again, and then we can bring Paul in. We can do add, and then we do next. And then the next thing we do is to add members. So these members are the people to get the mail. So we may just also go with Benga, then we go with Paul because I want to send that mail. So what we'll do, just send the screenshot of the mail that you will receive to the group, to the chats of this group. So I think I have Pillars Concept IT, but we said IT, that email address, like I've done something relating to that, but don't worry, we'll tweak the email address now to look different. So I think I also want to add myself, add Labrat as well. So where's Labrat? I think I have Labrat sign-in details. Then I can add, these people are just okay, 3 persons. Me, I think I've not added myself. Okay, so I'll click on add. So what this means is that, so let me come back here. I was saying it.support here is going to work. So I'm going to call it it.support, at pillarscloud.com.ng. Now, if I want to allow people outside of the organization to send an email to this DL, I can just check this, and then I'll do next. It's fine. So I'll just do create. Now, what I want to do is I'll look at the member of that distribution list, and then I would send an email to that DL. So this is it. It's IT support. So I'm just going to look for it. So this is just it, IT support. So I'm going to do this, and then these are the members. So what it means is that if I send an email to the email address, then it gets delivered to everybody within this mailbox. I don't know why that guy is delaying, but I've copied the mail address now. I want to come to Outlook. So you must be able to distinguish between a group and a distribution list and a shared mailbox. So I will explain that of the shared mailbox when we get into. So those mails I received were just telling me that I was added to a group. So I'm just going to do new mail, right? And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this. I'm going to send the mail to this guy. So I'm going to do the subjects. So I can draft with Copilot. So what I want to put is that mail I copied. And then I can just do this. So let's see. Copilot will just help me refine it. So, and I will just do keep it. I don't want to read what is there. So the subject is going to be Cybersecurity Awareness Week, right? That's the title. So that's it. So fine, making sense already. So the next thing I do is I will just click on send. So when I send, that mail is going to everybody, including me, right? And if I look at the mail, so Paul Benga, you can check your mailbox, take a screenshot, send it to the group. So this is telling me that the mail was sent to IT support, and because I'm a member of IT support, saying dear all, as we mark Cybersecurity Awareness Week, we would like to share some important advice on how to keep your password secure. Cybersecurity is a crucial aspect of our digital life and protecting blah blah blah. Have the following few tips: use a strong password, avoid use of these, then change your password regularly, enable MFA, be cautious of phishing attempts, and all of that. Now, I want to quickly have us sign into LabRat. But LabRat is actually a member of this group. So we're just going to pick up his user account. Seems, I'm going to users and active users. I'm going to look for lab. I think it's lab at. I'm just going to copy his email address quickly. So labrat. This is his email address. I'm just going to do this email. Just want to confirm that he also got the mail, the same mail that I got. So I'm going to do outlook.office.com. And who do I want to sign in as? I'm going to sign in as Labrat. So I'm looking for your responses in the chats. Sign in with a different account. This lab. Next. Password, I know it. Okay, I'm already seeing chats on the group. But let me just sign in as Labrats quickly. So did I not get that? I did. Why are you coming back to that name? I want to sign in as this guy. What's happening? Something is just wrong with this guy, but I want to quickly bring up a screenshot that I received from one of the participants, and I think that's Benga. Okay, so they're all just the same way I got it. So you can see up here, it's coming to, so I sent the mail to this, and then it got distributed to everyone in the group. So this is how it works in DL. It can be a moment of festivity in an organization, and the HR is trying to maybe send end of the year party info and all of that to people in the organization. So what they will just do, it can be HR at this.com.this, and then once that person sends an email to that distribution list, then everybody gets the mail at the same time. So that's how it works, right? With people working in organizations. So that's how to broadcast mail. The same way I got that mail, the same way Labrat will get the mail, the same way everyone in the organization who is member of that DL will get an email. So that takes care of distribution lists. I hope that is clear now. So the next point will be the security group. So security group really, they are groups that so a security group is a group, or there are groups that are used to set permissions to applications, um, to SharePoint sites, and basically security groups as to manage permissions. And then one very important thing that I see here to tell you is that the sync status of these enterprise voice users, for example, is on-premises. So what this means is that this group was synced from on-premise. Now I've shown you, you can see what is written there, sync from on-premises. Then if you look at this, it was created in the cloud. It was created in the cloud. So it can be any group. It can even be M365 group, but fortunately I had this as a security group from on-premise. So for security group, the same thing we did in creating M365 group is what we will have. So there is nothing really serious there. So we can just call this TMCC sec group or sec group, right? So the same thing we did there, just to come here. If you want to allow it to have a rule, you can give it a rule, right? So that everybody in that group will have that rule, but that's not what we are looking at this point. So review and finish adding the group. You just create the group. That's all. So when you are setting permissions, you can pick that group as the security you want to set. So having said this, right, there are points that I want to raise. So you will hear something like dynamic distribution list, and you will also hear something like mail enabled security group. That is what you have here, mail enabled security group. So what it means is that this group is going to create an email address mailbox. So for example, when you come here, right, you come to group people, and then you come to group in Outlook, you will see all groups that are mail enabled. But security groups, mail security group, like the one we just created, that is TMCC sec group, is not going to be here because it does not have a mailbox. But if you create a mail-enabled security group, it's going to be here. You can see that this group has inbox, right? So if people send email to this group, the emails are going to get delivered to this mailbox, right? Same thing with this one, and then same thing with these job application groups. They're always going to have mailboxes. They're going to have their own calendar and so on. But for the type of group that you create as security group that are not mail-enabled, they are not going to be listed among those groups that you have here with mailboxes. So, but if you want a security group to double as a mail-enabled group, then you are going to create the group as a mail-enabled security group. Mind you, if you it's the same way you follow to create this, it's the same way you follow to create the mail-enabled group. However, if you want to create a group, you can also export them, right? If you want to create a group that is secure, that is dynamically added member group, like what I mean is that you don't actually add these people to the group, but you want them to get added to the group by means of attributes. Let's say they are departments. You want all of them to become member of that group, right? Or you want it that or you want to create a group that you would add. So basically, you hear word like dynamic group. You also hear the word like dynamic. You also hear the word like dynamic distribution list. Yeah, I think that's the two words I want to bring up here. So for dynamic group, generally, you can create those ones from Entra Admin Center. I'm going to Entra, of course, coming back to CMD. and then the first one there will take you down to Entra. So if you look at Entra, right, you would find out something. You would find out that you can really, you can really come to, you can really come to groups the same way that you will have groups in M365. If you come to all groups, right? Now, this point, you can create these groups in such a way that you would have it that you are not the one adding members to it, but the members will dynamically get added to those groups according to their properties. It can be according to their location per country. It can be according to their department, which is one very common option that you have. So how you do that is you click on new group. So if you click on new group, right, you the default group that you are going to be creating is security group in Entra Admin Center. Now you can decide to change it to M365 group. Today you now know the difference between security group and M365 group. Security group is a group that is used to um, assign permission to devices, to SharePoint sites. Basically, they are to permit to create permissions to resources. That's what security groups are doing. While the Microsoft 365 groups are to carry out actions for collaborations, basically, right? And M35 group can be Teams enabled or not Teams enabled. But you see, the mail-enabled security group cannot be created from the Entra Admin Center, but can be created from the M35 Admin Center, this mail-enabled security group. So for M3 for security for M35 group, you can create it from here, but you can't create Teams enabled security. I mean, you cannot create Teams enabled M35 group directly from the Entra Admin Center, but you can create it from here. And if all the members that are part of it are Teams enabled, then you can enable Team status for them from the M365 Admin Center. So these things are just having, you need to understand what you want to do, where it is possible. So if you wanted to create a group, M35 group, that is mail enabled, I mean, M35 group that seems enabled, it's just better you just do it from the M35 admin center, or you do it from the Teams admin center, right? But if your go-to area is the Entra admin center, it just means that you're going to take like a second step. However, if you are creating an M35, a security group, and you want it to be mail enabled, so what that means is that you want it to be able to have a mailbox here, like we're having tech support here, having this welcome to this thing, right? So this is so for this to happen, you can't do that from the Entra admin center, because the security group they're going to create from Entra will never have mailboxes. Now, if for example you are doing M35 group, this M35 group cannot be Teams specific, right? So if it's security, if for security group, you can have membership type to be two types of membership type, either dynamic user or dynamic device, or you have assigned. If it is security, dynamic user, dynamic device, and assigned, right? But if it's M35 group, there are only two options here, and they are assigned or dynamic. Now, what does it mean to have assigned? Assigned is that you will be the one to manually add people to the group, while dynamic means that the people will just automatically get added to the group according to the attributes that you are going to select to be the parameter with which users are going to get added to the group. So for instance, so for security group, it can be device, right? That's why you're having dynamic device. But what I want us to do is M365 group. So now when you do this, right, it will tell you group name. So we can call it TMCC dynamic, TMCC dynamics, or dynamic. Then we can also look at this, which is fine by the email address. Then we look at the description. If we need to put the description, so we can put dynamic test group during TMCC. Good. So now you want to enter ID roles. If you want, look, you already know what roles are. So if you want to make this group like everybody in this group should automatically become a global admin, you just turn it on, and then you come down here. You see no role selected. You click on this, right? But if you turn this to no, that guy leaves. So if you turn it to no role selected, to tell you what role do you want to give to them. the people that are in that group, right? Let's say I want to just give them AI administrator, and then I'll select on this, right? That means that everybody that is going to be on the group I am creating is going to be AI administrator. And then see, look at this, is now the assigned is now stamped. You can no longer change it. The reason why it's now stamped is because as at this time, you cannot make a group dynamic and also assign role to it. So for you to be able to make this group dynamic, you must turn the assignment to become the role to become no. So if you turn the role to become no, you can decide to make the membership type to become dynamic. So once you make it dynamic, you see something here, dynamic query. So let me bring it back to assigned. You see that dynamic query disappears to members, no members, so that you can select here and then you can add member to it manually, just the same way we did from the M365 Admin Center, right? Now, but for you to be able to make this group dynamic, you have to do this, then dynamic user, then you add dynamic query, right? So if you add dynamic query, so what you want to do is to come here to where you have the expression, you click on here, you see we want to use departments, right? The department, the operator, which can be and, can be all, can be equal to, can be with. So let's just do equals to. And then we want to do IT. So what it means is that everybody that we created, that the department is IT, then they are going to be the ones that are automatically added to this group. So we're just going to do this. So you click inside here, it will give you the syntax. The syntax is user.department I hyphen EQ. EQ means equal to, then in bracket open and close IT. So once you have imputed the dynamic query, what you do is for you to click on save. So now you've added the dynamic query. You can add more dynamic query, right? By saying if the guy is in this department, you can also add expression. You can add as much as 5 here, and then that will be all. Then you can see 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, the first one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this and the and operator, right, is what you are adding. You can also add or. You know what or and operators are. We have gone through secondary school, and our lower level mathematics would have remembered from there that that all means that anyone can be true. The and means that the two must be true. So your logic comes to play here. But you can play with all those. Not that it's only 5 expressions you can put on this box. You can add more, but you have to now manually type them in, right? So let's not go into those other details. You can decide to say your own condition is user is in IT and is in Nigeria, or user is in IT and is a male, depend on if you are setting gender for your users, right? So it depends on they are in IT and they are females. You can automatically pop them into a group that way. So once you are okay with the query, you can save, then you can say create, right? So it assumes that there are people in your organization already that are supposed to have that attribute and come in there. So if we come back to all group, and then I think it's TMCC Dynamics I use, MCC Dynamics, where are you? This is it. So if I go to check the membership now, right, I will realize that there may be members here already and there may be no member. So the rule is processing through my organization. So just to be sure that what I'm doing is correct, I can come to dynamic membership rule. So what I want to do with dynamic membership rule is for me to check if my conditions are correct. So if I'm so sure that there is somebody in IT, I may want to validate the rule. So by coming here to add user, and then what I would do is I don't really know users that are in IT, but I'm just going to select like a lot of users now. But if I know like a particular user who's in IT, I will just pick on those users directly. And then after doing all of this, what I will see is I'll click on set, and then it will validate. So what this is saying is that Chidema Ojukwu, Christopher, they are not in IT, but created template is in IT and Joseph is in IT. Then these other guys are not in IT. So if truly this guy, I come to check his properties and the guy is truly in IT department. If I come here to edit property thereabouts, and then I check his department, job information, and I check department is IT. So what this means is that what I've done so far is correct. So if I come back to groups and I go to TMCC Dynamics, it's possible that by now the users would have come or started dropping into the membership of that group, or it takes some minutes for that to happen. And I would expect them to be here already. So what this means is that all these users are in are all in IT. So for example, I want to just randomly check James Branding, and then if I check edit property and then I come to job information, he would definitely be in IT. Unfortunately, because this user was created from the environment, I cannot edit the property here because the source of authority is not here in the cloud. Okay, so now that said, that will take care of dynamic membership group. So I will quickly, before I go on, I will quickly tell you about the dynamic distribution list, because you may come across the word dynamic distribution list. Now you've understood the concept of dynamic user group, right? So that dynamic distribution list cannot be created in M365 Admin Center, cannot be created in Entra Admin Center, but can be created from the Exchange Admin Center. So that's why sometimes when I teach these things, I come to Exchange to just quickly show you how it works, even though Exchange is like a place we are coming to in the future, right? So if I come here now, I'm going to go to mailboxes, right, in Exchange Admin Center, and then you will see add shared mailboxes, I'm supposed to create. So if I come to recipients and I'm talking about what's it called? Dynamic distribution list. I'm supposed to come into groups also in Exchange Admin Center. So I will see dynamic distribution list. This is not available here. If you come to distribution list, it's not there. If you come to Entra, you don't even see anything like distribution list. But if you come to Exchange on that group, you will see where's Exchange, where you're hiding. Yeah, if you come on that group, you will see dynamic distribution list. You have distribution list, the same distribution list that you have from the M365 Admin Center, right? You have the M365 group, the same M365 group that you have in M365 Admin Center, and you have also in Entra Admin Center. If you create from here to sync there, okay? Then dynamic distribution list. This one is like a list that you create, and then you have people dynamically getting added to the list of those people that you can send an email to in this order. So this list here will just be dynamically be adding people based on attributes. It can be location, it can be department, it can be anything, and then they just keep getting added to the group here, right? So that when you send an email to just that one email address, the email gets distributed to these people, but you don't have to manually add people here or remove them. So I think the removal is very important. For example, we know that this James Branding was there in that group. If I come here to James Branding's department, oh, I can't really change it because it's an on-premises user. So let's go back to this guy. Sorry, I'm jumping from something to another place. Let's say I want to change Pillars Bulk to who's already a member there. I want to change the department to something else. I come here and I change the department to become innovation. So what it means is that if this rule processes now, this guy is going to get out of that list. So let's just quickly come back to this, not that, yeah, dynamics here. And then we come to members. So what it means is that that guy that will change his department attribute, this guy is supposed to get out of this list. So if we refresh like a couple of times, then the guy will go. So if he doesn't want to go, you can check the what's it called, dynamic membership rule. Then you can come to validate rules, and then definitely when you add that guy that you've changed the attributes to check his properties, they're supposed to show red now because the attribute has been changed. So what that implies is that if I come back to check the membership of that group, if I come to check the membership of that group, I'm not supposed to see him there again. Members. So if he doesn't leave now, he will definitely leave later, right? So the guy is just forming stubborn. He doesn't want to leave. But once this rule processes in a bit of seconds, then the guy will go. So that's me trying to explain the the dynamic distribution list. So for the dynamic distribution list, I'm just going to add this. So if I click on that, I will see dynamic distribution list. So send email to all members of the list. The group membership list is updated every 24 hours based on the filter and the condition you set. So if you come to this, so you can say TMCC dynamic DL, right? So there's an E here, so I need to remove that dynamic DL. So I will do next. And then what I would do is all recipient type, no, definitely I want to put a property to it. And I say no, condition is that whoever that is in, so you look at the condition attribute. So this is company. Then if there are particular words that I want to use, then I can add rules to it. And these rules are not actually very clear. So if I look at custom attributes, what custom attributes are you talking about? So let's see. Company, state or province. So if I want to put the state or province to maybe Lagos, so anybody whose address is Lagos, then it should just automatically send to it. So what I want to do, I'll put this here, for example. I'm just trying to remove items. So to be honest, the distribution list in Outlook, I mean in Exchange, is not a very clear one to me yet. So, but the same way you've done that of M365, I mean of Entra, is the same way you are supposed to do it. So let's just go again over it and see how it looks. So we just say TMCC dynamic DL. So let's put this and next. So specify the type of recipient. So for the owners, I'm just going to put myself. I think that's why the next was not showing for me. And then or specify the type of recipient that the member will be in this group. I'll just do this so that I'll come here. I think I can use departments, right? I think I have that there. The same way I did, I can do IT. So what it means is that, but I'm wondering why the next icon is not working for me this next year, right? So you can try it out and let me know what your feedback is. My next is still active. I was thinking a group owner have unique permission. I was thinking it was because I've not added an owner. What if I put it as all recipients? It allows me to go, but that does not fit into what I want to do because I want it to be that it's picking people. Okay, so let's see. I think I need to select from here. Users with Exchange mailbox, mailbox users with external address, resource mailbox, mailbox contacts with external address. These are just predefined conditions that are here, and that's not part of what I'm looking for. So I'm giving this as an assignment. Let's also try to check if you can set attributes not the same way we did with the Microsoft 365 and the dynamic distribution list, the membership group from the Entra Admin Center. That will be our assignments. And deleted group, same thing as deleted users. If you come to deleted groups, you can delete a group from here. And then the same way we had seen it in the, this is deleted group, so you can restore. But if you come to active groups or teams and group here, I'll come to active groups. If you delete a group, then it will definitely also be in a deleted group for 30 days, the same way we did 30 days. And if it is not restored, then it will be automatic to be permanently deleted in hard delete. So the same way, so if you come to deleted groups, you will see it under there. You can, that group we just deleted is not here yet, it's here now. You can decide to restore. But if you come to the Entra Admin Center and you come to deleted groups, just exact same way with user group, you can permanently get the group deleted, which is hard delete. The same condition that applied would also get applied here. So having said that, I think one other thing that is left for us in the curriculum of today is how to dynamically create a team that will automatically get added as a team in Teams. So what I'm trying to say is that we are going to, you see the dynamic that we just created, the TMCC dynamic, right? We want to make it a team so that when people join the organization who are in IT, they automatically become members of that team. So how do you do that? You click on create a team. I mean, when you come to Teams, you look at up here, there is Teams, and then you go to create team, right? If you do this, then what you do is you can just call it, no, you don't need to give it a name. What you do is you click on create team option, okay? So what you do is you say it's not from template, but it's from group. So if you do that, you can see TMCC dynamics, right? So you can pick it. So once you do this, it's not going to ask you to add members to it. So you can see TMCC dynamics. If you come here to manage team, right, you will see that automatically the members of the team will be those people that are in IT who are members of this group, which makes a lot of sense. So now what that means, you can see that that guy, that bulk pillars is out of here. So if I go to Dan Dynamics and change Dan Dynamics or maybe I create a new user, right? Either I create a new user or change a new user or change an existing user's department, then the user is going to get out of that team. So we're just going to do create a team, create a user, right? This time is a new person resuming organization and the name is Jude, and that's the person's email address, and then the nickname is this. So we're just going to see the display name is Jude Dynamics. So I'm putting capital letter by mistake, but I will just leave it. So but I must come to the department attributes, and then what I want to put on that department is just IT, right? So this person, I'm not going to be adding him to a team. I'm not going to do anything, but you will soon see that the person is going to show up in that team here. If I, after some multiple refresh and just a little bit time of waiting, then the user automatically comes here. So what this does for you is that you automatically have a member added to a team without stress. And when the user changes department also, the user automatically leaves that team. And that's how interesting it is. So TMCC Dynamics, so if I come here and I go to manage members, if I come to members here, so James had not come yet, but no, I think it's James Dynamics, so he's not here yet. So it's just going to take a while and he's going to be showing up in that team. So if I also change the department of a user, let's say the Dan Dynamic guy, I'm just going to Dan. So these things usually take 2 hours or so to change, but I'm just trying to see if any changes appear to comments while we're on this call. So what I just need to do is to just come to why is this guy is this guy in that group? Let's see. Let's see Dan. Let's just quickly see the properties of that guy. I'll be surprised to see the guy in that team, right? So dynamic, CMCC dynamics manage, then members. Why is Dan dynamics here? It's funny, right? So you're supposed to only pick December lab users. Let's just check their properties. That's the department. So why is, oh, this is Dan Ray. I would have been surprised, right? So I'm looking for Dan Dynamics, all users, because you can't be in that group without being IT. Dan Dynamics. This is what I was supposed to be looking for. So edit properties, and then I go to contact info, oh, job description, right? I will see is in IT. It's not possible that anybody who's not in IT is there. So if I'm changing this guy's department to innovation, I'll be expecting Dan Dynamics to be leaving that group. So we are expecting James Dynamics to come in, and then we're expecting Dan Dynamics to get out. So if we just do like a refresh, it's possible that this user would have been here, But if it's still not here, we can just know that it is time that is going to tell when they are going to leave and when they are going to come. So that is when you have changed, or when a user has changed departments, and when you have all those things. So we would be coming here under TMCC Dynamics, and then we manage team. Then we look at it already. The guy that is supposed to go is possibly gone, uh, and the guy that is supposed to come is possibly here. It is still the same thing. So it's just taking a while, but basically just understand the principle that when the user changes department, because the department is the attribute that was used to dynamically arrange this stuff, then he will leave. And if you create a new user whose department tallies with the condition or the query that you've used to set up these changes, then the user would also see himself in this team. I'm just going to check like the very last time. I'm not even seeing that team showing up here. So a lot of things are happening. I'm just forcing things to happen too fast, and it's making some things to delay. Sometimes these things, when you are in a hurry to have them work, they will just disappear. So having said what we have said today, I will just come to do a summary of what we have been able to cover for the day. I'm just still going to be stiff-necked to check again. Guy is even not there, like for now. But it's cool. There's no problem. You've understood what I'm trying to say. So I've come to this place just to summarize what we have learned today. We've come to residents on active teams and group today, and then we have been able to understand the difference between the teams group and the M365 group. And one common sentence you must take away is that all M365 groups, no, all teams groups are M365 groups, but not all M365 groups are enabled for teams. That's one point you need to take. Then distribution list is what you have here. This picture should remain in your head. However, there can be dynamic distribution list where these people get added to this group dynamically, which is your assignments, because of the complexities or difficulties I had on the call to display that to us. But this is a deal. So it contains people in your organization's email, and once you send an email to one email address, it gets distributed to all of them at a go, which was like one of the examples that we did on the call. Then we have security groups, which are used to grant permission to SharePoint sites or applications. Basically, they are to set what they do. What security groups do is to grant access to organization resources. And then we see the sync status of teams. So if you have this as a group, as the sync status shows that it is created from on-premises. And then if you have this sign here, it means that it is created from the cloud. Then having said that, coming to dynamic distribution list can only be created from the Exchange Admin Center. Okay. Then for security group, you have the mail-enabled security group. The mail-enabled security group can only be created from the M365 Admin Center and the Exchange Admin Center, because if you click on add a group, you are going to see mail-enabled security group. No, not that. If I come to security group, yes, just close. So if I come to security group, excuse me, dynamic, I'm mixing things up. For dynamic distribution list can only be created from here. There, yes, this is what I'm talking about. The mail-enabled security groups can be created from the Exchange Admin Center and the M365 Admin Center. Sometimes this is going to get us confused. The mail-enabled security group. But from the Entra Admin Center, you can only create a non-email enabled security group, or simply mail enabled security group. And by default, when you create group from the M365 Admin Center, the group defaults to security group, but you can have the option to change it to M365 group. However, you cannot create directly a Teams enabled M365 group from Entra directly, because if you are creating by default, you have security, right? And then you can take the option to change it to the M365 group, okay? And then, but the M365 groups are going to create from here are going to be non-Teams enabled security group. I mean, M365 group. However, you can from here in Teams, convert those groups to teams. However, again, you remember that the condition is that the owners, all the owners of such a team or such a group must have Teams enabled licensing. So, and then finally, we talked about the what's it called? We talked about the deleted groups. Deleted group stays in deleted folders for 30 days for hard deletion. You can recover or go to Entra to permanently delete groups. So this serves as the summary of what we have done today, and I hope this is not too much for anyone. So it is time for us to ask our question at this point. So thank you very much, guys, for making today's Own Again a success. Okay, so guys,